Hey everyone, it's Rolls. Welcome back to the Metal Gear Solid 4 playthrough. We're on episode 3. The Praying Mantis. 3 days earlier. Sorry, I was having some trouble with my, with Aura on this computer. I just talked about it in, episode 1. For device protection and monitoring your accounts and credit and all that good stuff. But I was having some trouble on this computer with it, so took a short break between recording 2 and 3 to take care of it. It was basically just a case of it trying to update and wasn't able to update, but because I've given it the permission to do so, I think it was preventing a Wi-Fi connection to get the update. So eventually I figured that out and I just restarted it with the Ethernet cord plugged in and it did it right away. So we're good. It's nice to be able to have a VPN on this computer too. Even though I don't use it for much, the most activity it usually gets, other than uploading stuff to YouTube and recording and everything video related, is I use it for D&D. With Casey and the other crew in that campaign to use it with D&D Beyond to just have my character sheet at a glance, and you can actually roll dice and everything on there, so I just do that. I think I'm the only one that does it all that digitally. I of course have a dice kit and everything, and I even had a miniature for the last campaign that I bought. Little miniature dwarf paladin. This time I am a dragonborn barbarian though, and he's been a lot of fun to play. Even though we don't... Not criticizing the campaign, Casey, if you hear this, not at all, because it has been a ton of fun. I want to kill more things. I like the battle. But the story's great, so no complaints. It's weird having like a barbarian type and just, I actually have charisma to have good conversations and whatnot. Okay, see, so this is where this briefing normally plays. That we watched first. So it feels a little out of order in the recording now, but it'll be alright.
And assessment staff of the PMC Oversight and Inspection Committee.
But the way it's intended, you'll start a new game and you'll play that little intro section first to kind of get your bearings, and then you have this big cutaway moment with this briefing and this conversation here, and you cut back and you finish the opening, meeting Rat Patrol and all that stuff.
I'll explain along the way.
So far, I've been checking the playtime on every video here. So far, we've been doing pretty well. There are some that are ridiculously longer than 15. 15 is like my preferred time. I mean, if it goes to like 16, 17, or for the final parts of these videos, they've been like around 20. I'm fine with that. Brain Scratch Calm. Shout out to Brain Scratch. Shit, I've been watching that for over a decade now. Anyway, their one Final Fantasy IX ending part was like 45 minutes long, and it was great because you want the final fight and the ending stuff in it, and it's one of my favorite playthroughs they've ever done. And it's great, like I said, no complaints about the quality. But we'll skip the briefing here, but I understand if longer length scares some people away from watching. I have no problem with long videos. I watched, what's the channel name? I think it's Patrician Tier or something like that. My apologies that I forgot. I just got into your channel. But he did a 8-hour video about Morrowind, I think. And I just watch it in little, 1 to 2 hour segments when I got the chance. Definitely worth it. Anyway, here's the new codec.
Snake, do you read me? What's the situation? I'm just inside the city.
No longer do we have these still portraits that we got used to. It's definitely a departure from 3. Imagine playing 3s where you have a little radio. I mean, it's definitely like in sepia tone and everything for a reason to give the throwback look, but again, we're like, we're in the farthest game on the timeline, except for the Rising games, I think. I got the first one at a Best Buy at a discount way back in the day, because I got the 360 late into its run, because I was just like one of those people that, I don't know, how old was I went all through high school. Yeah, PS2 came out in middle school because I got Vice City in 7th grade for me, which would have been 2003, 2004. Yeah, 2003, I think. Whatever year it released, I got it pretty much right away because it was a big deal after 3 came out, and it was so good. But I had that until I was like 22. So I was just playing PS2 games and classic games. Like, I wasn't even, I got away from gaming, but I wasn't even interested in like the new stuff, because that was really when like FPS shooters were all the rage. Like, you had the most famous Call of Duty, like the Black Ops and stuff, and I just wasn't into it. Still not really. I mean, I've played Battlefield. I've played those games. My buddy has a game, it's like a Gettysburg shooter, but it's very realistic, so that like you have to have a captain that leads you and tells you when to fire, and then once you fire, you need to take time to like reload your bullets and pack the gunpowder before you shoot off another round. So it's very tactical. It looked really cool, but so anyway, I went from PS2 to get the 360 late, and then so many games were on sale, and I was able to enjoy it that way. Of course, this was a PS3 exclusive at the time. PlayStation exclusive. I guess it still is. It wasn't released for anything else. It hasn't been part of an HD or anything. It's always been its own game. It's interesting. So as far as the actual gun play goes, this is like the best game in the series until 5. I mean, 5's is the amount of interaction in that game is ridiculous. Of course, the like I said in a previous part, the change that happened is less espionage, more action oriented. So, like, I wasn't even trying to get into gunfights in the first 3 games. This game's kind of somewhere in the middle. Like, I don't want to, believe me. In 5 you don't really want to, but you have the equipment to. I guess that's the change for Ground Zeroes in 5 is, like, you have the ability to engage directly on, but is it a good idea? Probably not. Learn this one. Yeah. Just throw him to the ground.
Get up.
In this game, like every Metal Gear has a lot of interactive stuff. Like I passed it, but there's a statue back there that like you can pose as a statue, and Snake puts his hand over the statue's ween. But if you do it too many times, like he breaks it off, and you just throw a little dick on the ground, basically. It's that very Kojima sense of humor. But if I recall correctly, I play maybe one more part after this. Then I had the hardest time in the world getting a stable connection to record meeting the actual Rat Patrol. No, it was right after Rat Patrol. Yeah. So where the fuck am I headed? Oh, there's the dot. Okay, turn around. Yeah, I got a little lost, I admit here. Again, this isn't one that I've played. I've played it through to completion, I think, exactly one time before this recording. Is that it? I think that's it. But, you know, other than that dumb alert, things are going decent so far. Well, at least the internet's staying on now. It was so weird. It was telling me, like, I didn't have any connections. Like, there was no connections available, as if a firewall was up. Maybe I should have checked that first. That might have been the issue. But, like, how are you going to put up a firewall to prevent you from updating what's controlling access to your Wi-Fi? Like, it's one of those snake eating its own tail type things. Huh, snake. Press X. Guess not. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's very similar to other games. There are times, if you notice that, like, there's interaction that's not happening, it's like, okay, well, I'm up taking a piss or something, because love these games, but I've seen this story. Like, this isn't a fresh experience for me. Commentating on it is, of course, but like,
Put it on your left eye.
I got an eye patch.
I call it the solid eye.
Just turn him into Big Boss. You want to do it. Just turn him into Big Boss.
You can also switch it over to
This is actually a really nice little gadget here, though. Like, that's the crux of Steak's video that's so good. This is supposed to be a game about Snake. You know, it's a Metal Gear Solid 4. It's the sequel to 2, and it's the timeline ending of the Snake story, but like for some reason they keep bringing all these elements of Big Boss into it, and I love Big Boss, don't get me wrong. Like, it's Big Boss is to Solid Snake as Vader is to the Star Wars story, where it's like, yeah, the original trilogy is Luke's story. I mean, he's arguably the main character, even though you could just say Han and Leia. I mean, they all had their parts that they played, all that main crew, right? but like the focal point character was Luke Skywalker. So the focal point character in the Metal Gear Solid series is of course Solid Snake, but it's very much the franchise story is the story of Big Boss, as the franchise of Star Wars, the prequel, and the 3 original films, and the expanded films from Disney, in a way, are all shaped by Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, if you prefer.